السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله الذي جعل الشمس والقمر حسبانا والنجم والشجر يسجدان، فضل إنسانا على إنسان وزمانا على زمان، كما فضل مكانا على مكان. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وحبيبنا وسندنا وأعلانا وأولانا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد. Welcome to Quranic Arabic Academy, Arabic Grammar Made Easy. Lesson number 37. رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد رسولا. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. In this lesson we're going to understand phrases, and we will begin with conjunctive phrase. Before we move forward, one mistake happened in the past, so I'm going to correct that mistake. So let's look at the Jumla al-Fa'liya first, and then we will see the mistake. تكتبنا الدرس. تكتبنا الدرس. So the siga تكتبنا is فعل المضارع, and it is جمع مؤنث مخاطبة. تكتبنا. If we take the علامة مضارع تا and put a ya, becomes يكتبنا, and that siga is جمع مؤنث غائبة. If you look at the تركيب of this, تكتبنا فعل مضارع plus the فاعل and الدرس مفعول به. So here the siga تكتبنا, the fa'il, we made the noon. Noon is the fa'il, and we know the fa'il is always an ism. Fa'il is ism. Either it is a ism zahir, a solid ism, or it is a damir. Damir is also an ism. Tarkib is fine, okay. But in Arab, you all female are writing the lesson. Al-Mudari. When you look at the Arab, تكتبنا, we said فعل مضارع مبني على السكون لاتصاله بنون جمع المؤنث. This is where the mistake is. So we're going to correct it today. The noon jama muannas is a harf. Noon jama muannas is a harf. So this harf will come only in fi'l al-madi. For example, katabtunna. Katabtunna. That the ta is the fa'il, and the noon is the noon jama muannas. Okay, but in fi'l mudari, this noon is an ism. So therefore this noon is noon an-niswa. Noon an-niswa. So here again, wa noonu jam al-muannas is wrong. The correct one is wa noonu niswati ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح في محل رفع فاعل. So remember, noon jama muannas is a harf that comes in some of the damirs. For example, hunna, that noon in hunna is a harf. Another one comes in kunna. That noon also is called noon jama muannas. But this noon, when it is attached to fi'l al-mudari, and both of the sigas, the ghaib siga jama muannas ghaiba yaktubna, that is correct. We've been doing noon niswa all the time, but it is when it is in mukhataba siga. So in both sigas, the noon is noon an-niswa. So let's correct that. Noon an-niswa. So here we'll say this. ونون النسوة ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح في محل رفع فاعل. Okay, so in Arab تكتبنا فعل مضارع مبني على السكون, because the last letter is the ba, and ba has a sukun. مبني على السكون. Why? لاتصاله بنون النسوة. ونون النسوة ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح في محل رفع فاعل. أنا الدرس مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay. We made the same mistake in the last lesson when we were doing فعل الأمر. So let's look at that now. اكتبنا. So this noon is also noon النسوة. اكتبنا الدرس. اكتبنا فعل أمر plus the فاعل. الدرس مفعول به. You all female write the lesson. Is a command. So the Arab will be اكتبنا فعل أمر مبني على السكون لاتصاله بنون النسوة, not بنون جمع مؤنث, because the noon جمع مؤنث is a harf, but this noon is an ism, so it is called نون النسوة. ونون النسوة ضمير متصل مبني على الفتح, because na as a fatha on it, في محل رفع is the فاعل, and الدرس مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتح الظاهرة على آخره. Okay, so this is the correct way of doing the Arab of فعل مضارع, both جمع مؤنث sigas, the غائبة and the مخاطبة. Also in فعل الأمر, there's only the مخاطبة جمع مؤنث مخاطبة siga. Okay, so I am sure, I hope you have understood the mistake we were making all this time. So you can correct all the previous examples we have, or we had, when we had the two sigas, Jama Muzakkar Ghaib. I think that was okay, fine. But when it comes to Jama Muannas Mukhataba, I think we were doing the Noon Jama Muannas. So change the Noon Jama Muannas into Noon and Niswa. Okay, let's recap the slots in Al-Jumla Al-Ismiya, and also we'll look at the slots in Jumla Al-Fi'liya. We've been doing the slots of Jumla Fi'liya in every lesson, but let's look at the slots, the parts of Al-Jumla Al-Ismiya. Number one is Mubtada'un, and number two is Khabarun. this two makes al-jumla ismiya. Few of the things we should know about these mubtada and khabar. Number one, mubtada is generally ma'rifa, khabar is generally nakira, and mubtada is marfu', khabar is also marfu'. Next we have ismu kana. The mubtada changed ismu kana when the kana wa akhawatuha comes. So ismu kana and khabaru kana. So ismu kana is ma'rifa, khabaru kana is nakira. Ismu kana is marfu', but khabaru kana is mansub. Yeah. So here the ismu kana is a slot, like mubtada is a slot. Khabaru kana is a slot, like the khabar itself. Next we have ismu inna. When inna wa akhawatuha comes in jumla al-ismiya, now the mubtada is called ismu inna and khabar is called khabaru inna. Ismu inna is ma'rifa, like mubtada. Khabaru inna is nakira, like the khabar. But the i'rab of ismu inna is mansub, and i'rab of khabaru inna is marfu'. So all this time the slot either it is mubtada or ismu kana or ismu inna. The examples we had only one word. Okay, now we're going to expand these slots, and we're going to have two words or two isms in one slot. All this time we had only one ism in one slot. Now we're going to expand, and we're going to have two words in the slot of mubtada, sometimes two words or two isms in the slot of khabar. Same thing. Two isms in the slot of ismu inna or ismu kana. Same. Two words or isms in khabaru kana or khabaru inna. Let's look at the al-jumlatul fi'liya, the slots. Number one is fa'il. All this time we've been using fa'il as one ism, one word. We can expand and put two words in one slot. This is what is called phrase. Same thing, naibu fa'il, we can expand two or more words in one slot. And these will be marfu', and the maf'ul bihi is a slot, but we can expand and put more words in this one slot. Maf'ul bihi thaniyan, we can put two or more words in this slot. Same thing, maf'ulun fihi, maf'ulun mutlaqun, and maf'ulun li ajalihi, and halun. Some of these slots will have only one ism. They don't have two or more. So we'll look at that later on. Mustasna and tamyiz. Okay. So especially fa'il, naibu fa'il, maf'ulun bihi thaniyan. These will have two or more words or isms in one slot. So other than fa'il, naibu fa'il, the rest of the slots will be mansub. Phrase. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of two or more words that stands together as a single grammatical unit. Slot. In other words, the expansion of the slots. A phrase is never a full sentence on its own. A phrase is a part of the sentence. It never can be a full sentence on its own. like mubtada. If we make a phrase, put two words, it is only a mubtada. It's not a complete sentence. To make this complete, we need a khabar. So a phrase is never a full sentence on its own. There are 6 types of phrases we're going to learn. How many? 6. We're going to learn 6 types of phrases in this course, inshallah. Phrases. Number 1, conjunctive phrase. Conjunctive phrase. This phrase is made of معطوف عليه, حرف عطف, and معطوف. Conjunctive phrase is made of معطوف عليه, حرف عطف, and معطوف. Number 2, a positive phrase. A positive phrase is made of مبدل منه and بدل. A positive phrase is made of مبدل منه and بدل. Number 3, descriptive phrase. Descriptive phrase is made of منعوت and نعت. Sometimes we say موصوف and صفة. Number 3, demonstrative phrase. This phrase is made of اسم الإشارة and مشار إليه. Number 5, possessive phrase. This phrase is made of مضاف and مضاف إليه. And number 6, prepositional phrase. This phrase is made of حرف جر and مجرور. Okay, so these are the 6 phrases we're going to learn. Conjunctive phrase, معطوف عليه, حرف عطف, and معطوف. A positive phrase, مبدل منه and بدل. Descriptive phrase, منعوت and نعت. Demonstrative phrase, اسم الإشارة مشار إليه. Number 5, possessive phrase, مضاف and مضاف إليه. Prepositional phrase, حرف جر and مجرور. Let's start with number 1, conjunctive phrase. A conjunctive phrase is 2 or more words joined together with a conjunction, like and, or. Okay. In Arabic, a conjunction is called حرف عطف. حرف عطف. The word before حرف عطف is called معطوف عليه. The word after حرف عطف is called معطوف. So these are the 3 things we need to make a conjunctive phrase. حرف عطف, معطوف عليه, and معطوف. What is معطوف عليه? The word before حرف عطف. What is معطوف? The word after حرف عطف. So what are the rules of conjunctions? The rules of conjunctions. The معطوف, the word after حرف عطف, will have the same i'rab as the معطوف عليه. So معطوف follows only one properties of ism, and that is i'rab. So معطوف follows the i'rab of معطوف عليه. So whatever the i'rab معطوف عليه will have, same i'rab the معطوف will have. For example, زيد وخالد. So here the waw is one of the حرف عطف. So the word before حرف عطف, which is زيد, so زيد will be معطوف عليه. And the word after حرف عطف, which is خالد, will be معطوف. So واو حرف عطف, the word before حرف عطف is معطوف عليه, and the word after حرف عطف خالدون is معطوف. So the معطوف will follow the i'rab of معطوف عليه. So in this case, زيدون is in مرفوع case. So Khalid will also be in مرفوع case. زيدون is showing الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. So Khalid will show the i'rab الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay. So when we look at the i'rab, it's not something new. We've been doing all this time exactly the same way. Just have to add one word in the i'rab. So out of all 6 phrases, number 1 is conjunctive phrase. We use a conjunction which is called حرف عطف. The word before حرف عطف is called معطوف عليه, and the word after حرف عطف is called معطوف. The rule is the معطوف will have the same i'rab as the معطوف عليه. Now, conjunctive phrase is made of معطوف عليه, حرف عطف, and معطوف. Now we need to know what are the حرف عطف. How many are there? What are the حروف العطف? Let's look at that. حروف العطف. حروف العطف, there are 9 in total. There are 9. Number 1 is wa, means and. Number 2, fa, means then. Number 3, thumma, also means then. The difference is fa, whatever the before the fa معطوف عليه and after fa معطوف, if it's a fail, both of them are doing. Fa means they did one straight after another. There is no gap. Thumma means there's a gap after a long time. Fa straight away, thumma later, a bit longer. We'll see some of the examples. Aw, either, or, also either or, la, not, bal, rather, but, lakin, also means rather but. There is no difference between these two, and hatta, including. So these are the 9 حروف العطف we are going to learn, and we'll see examples of all of them. So in one lesson, I'm not able to cover the examples of all these. So let's just do in this lesson, we'll cover the waw, wa, fa, thumma, aw, and In the next lesson, we'll look at the la, bal, lakin, and hatta. Okay, just ignore the title if you want to change it. Let's see some examples. Okay, I'll change the title in a minute. Ja'a, as we know, there is a fi'l called ja'a yaji'u, to come. Ja'a yaji'u, to come. Ja'a Zaydun wa Khalidun. Ja'a Zaydun wa Khalidun. Okay, look at the tarkib. The way we do tarkib is Ja'a fi'l madi and fi'l requires a fa'il. Okay, so all these three is a one slot. It'll become the fa'il, or the fa'il. And then we look at each of them. We call it Zaydun ma'tufun alayhi, waw harf atf, and Khalidun ma'tufun. Okay, there's a spelling mistake. I'll change that in a minute. So Ja'a fi'l madi and Zaydun wa Khalidun, all this one slot, which is the file. So in this file we have two isms, Zaydun wa Khalidun, connected with the waw. So what is harf atf? The word before harf atf, Zaydun, is ma'tufun alayh. The word after harf atf is ma'tufun. Now translation is Zayd and Khalid came. Zayd and Khalid came. The Arab will be جاء فعل ماض مبني على الفتح. زيد فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. واو حرف عطف مبني على الفتح و إذا فتح on it. لا محل له من الإعراب. As we know, all the hurufs has no slot in the sentence. So لا محل له من الإعراب. Now خالد معطوف. We can say معطوف مرفوع. Just to make sure, معطوف on what? We write على اللفظ زيد. So معطوف على in the bracket with زيد مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. So let's change some of the معطوف and just get it from here. الجملة الفعلية copy not here. Okay, so جاء فعل ماض مبني على الفتح. زيد فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفع ضمة الظاهرة على آخره وحرف عطف مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. خالد معطوف على زيد مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Let's look at the example. يدخل. By looking at it, we can see it's فعل مضارع. يدخل التلاميذ. تلاميذ is جمع of تلميذ, student. فالأستاذ. No. فالأستاذ. So whatever the action the معطوف على is doing, the معطوف did the action straight after them. Straight after them. There is no gap. So يدخل فعل مضارع. التلاميذ فالأستاذ. This is a big whole one slot, which is the fa'il. Now we break whatever is in this slot. We mention the name one by one. So التلاميذ معطوف عليه. Then فا حرف عطف. الأستاذ معطوف. Same thing here. Then we have translation. The students are entering, then the teacher is entering. إعراب. يدخل فعل مضارع مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. التلاميذ فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. فحرف عطف مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. الأستاذ معطوف على التلاميذ. معطوف على التلاميذ مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. So as we can see, the معطوف follows the إعراب of معطوف عليه. So معطوف only follows in one of the properties of ism, which is al-i'rab. The معطوف does not need to follow the other three properties, like the al-adad doesn't need to follow the adad, the number. It doesn't need to follow the al-jins, the gender, and it does not need to follow the ma'rifa or nakira, at-ta'yin. Let's change that. Because the wow and the za, the keyboard is close to the same together. Sometimes you press the za thinking you're pressing the wow. Okay, so this is how we do the i'rab of. So in the i'rab, we just mention whatever the ma'atuf alay, whatever the slot is in. So التلاميذ فاعل مرفوع. There's no need to say ma'atuf alay. In tarkib we do, but in i'rab we don't. So in i'rab only we write the ma'atuf. Okay. Next, يخرج التلاميذ ثم الأستاذ. Now we know ثم means there's a gap between the action of معطوف عليه and the action of معطوف. So يخرج التلاميذ ثم الأستاذ. تركيب. يخرج فعل مضارع. التلاميذ ثم الأستاذ, because it's a one slot, is the fa'il. And then we break that fa'il into 3 pieces and mention the name of them one by one. التلاميذ معطوف عليه ثم حرف عطف الأستاذ معطوف. The students are going out, then the teacher is going out. There's a gap between the تلاميذ and the أستاذ. إعراب يخرج فعل مضارع مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. أنا التلاميذ فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. ثم حرف عطف مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. الأستاذ معطوف على التلاميذ مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. I think we have to do this in all the slides. Okay. Let's look at the next one. كل is a فعل أكل يأكل to eat. أكل يأكل. So we see أكل is فعل ماضي. مضارع will be يأكل. There is no علامة مضارع here. So this must be فعل الأمر. How is made? Let's take the مخاطب صيغة تأكل because فعل أمر only has مخاطب صيغة. So تأكل. So how is فعل أمر made? Make فعل مضارع مجزوم تأكل. Remove علامة مضارع if the next letter has a سكون. So تأكل. In our case, after removing the ta, there is a hamza sukun on it. Hamza sukun on it. So according to the rule, we need to put a hamzatul wasl. And look at the second to last letter. Here, second to last letter has a dhamma. So hamzatul wasl will get a dhamma, becomes ukul. Okay, ukul. Because Arab says ukul is hard to say. Just drop the hamza after removing the alamat mudari ta, because it's the hamza sukun. Just remove that as well. So it becomes kul. After removing the hamza, becomes kul, means eat. Kul. تفاحا أو برتقالا. So أو comes to give a choice. أو, you have a choice, either one of the two. So كل تفاحا أو برتقالا. تركيب كل فعل should be أمر not ماضي. فعل أمر plus the فاعل. تفاحا أو برتقالا is a one slot مفعول به. So in this slot, what are the parts? تفاحا معطوف عليه أو حرف عطف and برتقالا معطوف. Let's look at the translation. Eat apple or orange. Eat apple or orange. إعراب كل فعل أمر مبني على السكون. كل, the last letter has a sukun on it. We need a fa'il. I think the order has changed. Okay, let's look at it here. والفاعل ضمير مستتر وجوبا تقديره أنت. تفاحا مفعول به منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره أو حرف عطف مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. برتقالا معطوف على تفاحا، معطوف منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. Understand? So whatever the i'rab of ma'tuf is, sometimes ma'tuf can be in the slot, ma'tufun alay can be in the slot of fa'il, and because the fa'il is marfu, so ma'tufun also will be marfu. Sometimes the ma'tufun alay can be in the slot of maf'ulun bihi mansub, so ma'tuf will just follow the i'rab of ma'tuf alay. In this case it is mansub. So this is al-jumlatul fi'liyatu, and this is the wow. Okay, in the past when we were doing the tarkib, we're just putting a line under, okay, line over here, then we say fil amr, then line here, line here, line here, joining them together. It was all over, everywhere. It wasn't neat and nice. But now if you do this way, put the main slots on the top and the sub slots at the bottom. We need to change one more. Fil amr. Okay. Right, are you understanding? It's not right. Okay, it's exactly the same thing what we've been doing in the past, nothing different. It is only, as I said, we just have to use the word ma'tuf for the ma'tuf and just say it is following the, it's up to you. Either you can say ma'tufun mansubun all the way, or you can put ma'tufun what? Ala, the word before it. Okay, let's look at another example. Kunu. So the kana is used here. Now we know this is going to be al-jumla al-ismiyya, because kana comes in jumla ismiyya. So kunu hudan aw nasara. Quranic example. Kunu hudan aw nasara. Let's see what's tarkib. Kunu فعل أمر ناقص plus اسم كونوا. As we said in the past, either you can write اسم كان or you can write the siga itself. It's best to write the siga itself. Okay, اسم كونوا. هودا أو نصارى is a whole one slot. خبر كونوا. خبر كونوا. So let's break this big slot into pieces. هودا معطوف عليه أو حرف عطف. نصارى معطوف. So كان يكون to be. If it's فعل أمر is a command, be. Be what? هودا, a Jew or a Christian. Be Jew or Christian. Be Jews or Christians. Now in Arab we need to be careful because the فعل ناقص كان is used, so we need to look at the ism of كان, خبر of كان, all these. إعراب كونوا فعل أمر مبني على حذف النون لأنه من الأفعال الخمسة. Okay, now we need the ism of كونوا. What is the ism of كونوا? Okay, again the order has changed, sorry. وواو الجماعة ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع اسم كونوا. So واو الجماعة, it is a ضمير and it is متصل and it is مبني على السكون and it is in the slot of رفع. Because اسم رفع, sorry, اسم كان is مرفوع. So في محل رفع it is اسم كونوا. هودا خبر كونوا منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره أو حرف عطف مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. نصارى is معطوف على هودا منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة المقدرة منع من ظهورها التعذر. Because whenever we have alif maksura, remember alif maksura, the i'rab will be muqaddar. It is hidden and it is believed. Because it is impossible to show the sign, to show the alamat on it. It is impossible. Like Hudan, we can see the fatha on it. But on Nasara, you cannot put a visible fatha on alif maksura. Remember, alif maksura is always sakin. Alif maksura always remains sakin. You never can change it. So it's impossible. So نصارى معطوف على هودا منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة المقدرة منع من ظهورها التعذر. Understood? So change the جملة اسمية وهي معطوف كونوا فعل أمر مبني على حذف النون because it is one of the أفعال الخمسة. وواو الجماعة ضمير متصل مبني على السكون في محل رفع اسم كونوا. هودا خبر كونوا منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره أو حرف عطف مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. نصارى معطوف على هدى. It is منصوب وعلامة نصب الفتحة المقدرة منع من ظهور التعذر. Another example. سعد غائب أم زينب. سعد غائب أم زينب. Here we are using the حرف عطف أم. Here we can see is Hamza istifham. Sa'adun is an ism. So this jumla is starting with the ism. So this must be a jumlatul ismiyya. تركيب. Sa'adun mubtada'un. We can write Hamzatul istifham. But Sa'adun mubtada. Mubtada is the khabar. All this big slot is the khabar. غائب أم زينب is the khabar. Let's look at the. Okay, I think I made a mistake here. I'll correct that in a minute. Okay, is harf atf and Zainabu is ma'tuf. So which one is ma'tuf alay? If you think a little, Zainabu cannot be ma'tuf on ghaib. Cannot be ma'tuf on ghaib. It has to be ma'tuf on here. Okay, Sa'd. Okay, let's change that as well. Okay, so sometimes a word can follow the ism in another slot. It doesn't have to be in the same slot. It can follow in another slot. For example, here, khabar is all this in one slot, but it is following outside of this slot, which is the mubtada. Is Saad absent or Zainab absent? Is Saad absent or Zainab? This is the word-to-word translation, but we can add. Is Saad absent or Zainab absent? Alright, so I'rab. Hamzatul istifham مبنون على السكون. مبني على الفتح لا السكون. لا محل له من الإعراب. and سعد مبتدأ مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. غائب خبر مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. أم حرف عطف مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. and زينب معطوف على سعد. مرفوع وعلامة رفع الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay, so what was the mistake? مبني على الفتح. So حمزة الاستفهام مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. سعد مبتدأ مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. غائب خبر مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. أم حرف عطف مبني على الفتح. Now this should be sukun. I'm getting it. So it was changed other way around. مبني على السكون. أم. Okay, so the last letter is سكون. حرف عطف مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. زينب معطوف على سعد. And because Saad is marfu, so Zainab also will be marfu. وعلامة رفع ضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay, so this is the end of lesson 37. In this lesson, what we've learned, we are learning the phrases, and we've said there are 6 types of phrases we're going to learn. We start the first one, conjunctive phrase, and conjunctive phrase is made of معطوف عليه, حرف عطف, and معطوف. There are 9 حروف العطف we've learned. Number 1, wa. Number 2, fa. Number 3, ثم. Number 4, أو. Number 5, Number 6, لا. Number 7, بل. Number 8, لكن. And number 9, حتى. So memorize these حروف العطف, and inshallah in the next lesson we will continue and look at the examples of the rest of the حروف العطف is left out. Inshallah we'll do the next lesson. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability and the tawfiq to spend little time to understand Arabic grammar so we can understand the Quran, and we ask Allah to whatever little we are doing to accept from us and give barakah in our time, in our wealth, in our family, and Allah to protect everyone of us wherever we may be in the world from this killing virus. May Allah protect everyone. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.